Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Daitoshi.
This is a pretty cool new game that's coming out at Spiel, so if you want to know more about it, then you can watch this video, because that is what this video is all about. In this video, we are building up a city. And we're trying to balance exploiting the lands around the city. We have to exploit them because we have to build our city and build our machine and try to be the biggest capitalists ever and try to just take stuff but give a little back so that they're not the yokai that lived there for thousands of years going to be angry at us. I love how in the rulebook it's very much like the text of everything is written as the people who are doing it. It's like there's some talk about some spirits who lived there for thousands of years. It's gonna be fine, and I really like that. But in this game, you are going to be playing on this rondel here, which is going to be laid out at the beginning of each game. It's going to be different each time. And on your turn, you're going to move your little dude around here. And then you're going to do actions. You're going to place it, depending on where you place, you will be able to place workers to do different bonuses. In the beginning, there's only going to be one. And then when the city gets built up, there's going to be more building or more worker places available. Then you're going to have to exploit the land. Doing that, you will be taking a tile from the tracks over here. You're going to take the tile. You're going to place it on your exploitation track here. You're going to get some bonuses. You're basically going to take some resources from that space and getting some people that lives there to come and work for you in the city. If you have more than one of the tile, you might make the yokais angry, which will make life harder for you. Then you're going to do the action. There's only 4 actions in the game. There is a yoker action, like a wild action, and also a mega machine action, where you can interact with a mega machine to get more points. What you're going to do is that you are going to build these new buildings. You're going to electrify them. As you see, some of these have gotten electricity. You are going to trade with other cities, and you are going to get inventions for your machine, which are these. You're just going to start with one of these, and you're going to get more of them throughout the game. You're going to try to continue doing that in the best way possible, and when one of these tracks are nearly empty, the game is going to end, and the player who has the most points after final scoring is going to be the winner of this game.
I like the gameplay loop of this game. I think it's pretty cool. The only thing that might be a problem for me personally, especially, is that it can bring some AP moments. The rule set aren't that complex in reality, but there are some steps to go through on your turn that can give you some AP moments here and there. The strategy that you want to have in this game really depends on the setup.
Yeah.
So especially the Great Machine and some of these trading spaces where the other cities, you might look at that in the very beginning and think, this time it might be good to do this.
You're basically trying to exploit a weakness of the game, basically. It's like, oh, this looks like a great loop to do now. You are going to also look at the order of this. The first time you play, you're just going to do stuff and see what happens. But I think the more you play, you're going to be able to, at the beginning, be like, okay, because these are adjacent, I might try to do these things. And I start with this building, and these buildings are available, or inventions are available in the beginning. And there's just so many things, and that makes it so that you want to do, it's one of those games again where you want to do everything before you do another thing.
Yes.
Because you want to have the right worker before you go somewhere, but then you get a worker you need for the other action where you would have gotten the worker. So it's kind of like all of these things make it harder. But the game is very fun. Like everything you do is fun, and after the first time it's going to flow pretty well. I really just enjoy what you do. I feel like the first time you play, this might be a bit overwhelming. There's a lot of colors, a lot of things going on. But when you start playing it a couple of times, so if you look at it now and see like it looks like it's a lot, it's not really. It's very simple when you have played it at least time to see that you're going here and you're just doing everything clockwise. So you place, you get to do the workers, you get exploitation, and you get the action. The one thing that might be like adding is all the symbols for the electrifying action, which you're not going to be able to interact with on your turn if you're not doing the electrifying action.
Yeah.
The game is going to be long. The first time you play. Just know that.
Absolutely. The first time we played this game, and also the second, which was our first time with 4 players, was very long. But I think you can get the playtime down pretty quick. Second time we played with 2 players, we halved our playtime.
Yeah, so just so you know, we played in almost 3 hours with 4 and 2.5 hours with 2 the first time. So we got that down to like an hour and 15, 20 second time, which is a great playtime. I will say, the game is great with 2. It uses a dummy, which is kind of annoying and kind of you forget that it's there. It's basically just staying on a space, so it blocks that space. If I go here, it's going to move forward. If it goes where the Mega Machine is, that is going to move backwards, like it does every time somebody interacts with it. So it's kind of is there, and I really enjoy that too. It flows really well.
Yes.
But the multiplayer game tightens it up a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when it comes to the angry yokais and like the exploitation and making them, because that never happened in a 2-player game, but happened a lot in the multiplayer game.
That might be how we play it as well. Not only the player count, but I feel like I personally like the 2-player better in this game because I didn't feel like the interaction added, like it wasn't a must to have that 4-player interaction in the game. But I will say that my AP brain didn't like the chaoticness because it's much more changing here in the 4-player game.
So I think, again, theoretically, since we haven't done it, 3 is going to be the best player count. Because I really like this, but my favorite thing about this game is the exploitation of the land. And it's a pretty thematic game.
That's my favorite thing
just
in
like
general.
exploiting. But because you're trying to, every time you do an action, you're going to get at least one of these. You might get 2 if you want to go to do the Joker action.
Yep.
And you never want to have more than 1. Because let's say I get 2 of the underground tile.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of the round, or end of my turn, this is going to get destroyed and I can only keep 2 workers.
That's a huge deal.
And it's going to be less steam is going to be produced.
That's a huge deal.
I'm going to do less when I produce, so I'm going to get less movement. We didn't even talk about this. When you move on them, they're going to get better. They're going to upgrade, so you can get more when you produce from them. They're going to be able, when they go to this circle, they're going to be able to send them to the Mega Machine to get those special tiles that you can see over here. And they're going to score you points. So that's going to be worse. And also, this is going to flip to make it way more expensive with Steam to produce. So getting to that, you really want to not do it. And it's pretty hard to stay balanced.
Oh yeah, that's like a huge thing in this game. Trying to at all times be like, okay, I want to do that because that's a cool action. But if I do it, I have to find some way to get rid of that exploitation tile because, or else that will have consequences. I must say, the produce action is way cooler with 4 people.
Yes.
Because you will get to produce also on other people's turns. So that doesn't happen that often in a 2-player game.
And it also adds another interesting decision because a lot of the points you're going to get from this game is from producing, which is pretty interesting because like it's a good points getter. So if somebody has made, like you can see here, these are going to get you points when you produce. So if somebody has made a factory with a lot of high scoring inventions, you know that if you produce, they're going to score maybe double your points. But you need those resources.
Yes.
And of course, if somebody doesn't have enough steam, it's a good like timing to like, okay, you don't have enough steam to produce in all your buildings. I'm going to produce now.
Yeah.
And so that is pretty cool. And I really like that. I also have to say, and this is weird because this is the second game in a short time where I've spoken about this. I like the theme of this game. It's not that I think that much about it when I play it, but I really enjoy it. It's like we are... Like, it's very much feels like a mirror to the real life, real world. Somebody is coming into somewhere where there isn't a city. They're building it up. They're exploiting the lands, getting the natives in to work for them. But then, like, the spirits here, of course, gets angry. So they try to kind of give it back. Like, thematic's like, I'm going to build a park. I'm going to build a little park here. I'm going to build a shrine, which makes you happier and makes those spirits happier again. So it's like, I'm going to exploit it, but I'm going to give you this little thing back. So I really like the theme as well.
I agree. I think the theme is great, but it really is weird that they've taken a theme that is kind of a political statement and then overproduced the resources or components in this game.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
The components in this game looks amazing, but every single like of these pieces of resources, the steam and everything, is these acrylic pieces, which looks beautiful,
Yes.
but they are covered in plastic when you get them. So I was like peeling them off, and one, that's annoying, and I wouldn't mind if this was cardboard.
No.
Why isn't it cardboard?
Because we are gamers and we like plastic.
But like the theme, yes.
Yes, I agree. It's kind of like we don't know what they thought about behind the theme. Like we
Yes.
don't know their intentions behind the theme. But I do agree with you absolutely on that. Are you gonna like this game? I think you're gonna like this game if you like games where you can build an engine and then run it. Because a lot of engine builders, you feel like, oh, I'm finally getting my engine down, and the game is done. And here, depending on how rushy and how like the same buildings, it's gonna be pretty balanced. You see here at the end of our last game, because you are going to be trying to, most of the time you're gonna do it pretty balanced because you can't just stack the same on top of each other. You could.
Yeah,
if you
I
just
was-
like,
yeah.
if you just depend like, I'm just gonna have this at that and just stack those.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe I should just like keep one color or one area always in the disappointed side. I don't know what it's called.
Yes.
This-
Conflict side.
Thank you. Because like that gives me just like one disadvantage and then try to control everything else. But my brain wants to get rid of everything.
Yeah, so you're pretty good at that because you're going to score some points at that as well. If you like, it's a pretty tight game,
Yeah.
but not in a punishing way because you're doing quite a lot of things. I will say though, that the games we have played has been that if somebody is ahead in the beginning and they're playing good, they're going to win. Like if the last game we played, you had 100 points more than me. Because we had pretty much the same final scoring. These are different final scorings for different things you do. But you had scored way more points during the game. So it was harder. It was not impossible for me to be able to get those back. It was not like sometimes, oh, you got a lot of points during the game, but then you didn't do final scoring.
Yes, the first time we played it was a little opposite because you were running away, but
That is
then
true.
I didn't catch you in the final scoring. I almost caught you before that as well.
Yeah, so
yeah.
you build it up. So it doesn't have to be that way, but
No.
if somebody plays well and continues to play well, that it might be a problem. So are you ready for some final thoughts?
Yes.
Yes. Before that, if you like us and you see us on YouTube right now,
Or just listen, that's fine too.
yes, if you just close your eyes or just do something else, you can subscribe.
Yeah,
Do you think they should?
I think so.
Like-
my humble opinion.
Yeah,
I
you might be
would-
biased.
Yeah, that's true.
Give them 2 reasons to subscribe. Reason 1,
We're Norwegians.
yes. Reason 2,
We like board games.
yes. And my
Hopefully
final
you
question,
do.
does it cost any money?
No, it's completely
What?
free.
It's a free thing. It only costs you 1 click and you get it for free. Now some
Cool.
final thoughts. You go.
Yeah, I like this game. I didn't like it as much the first time, but this is a game that continues to grow on me.
Yeah.
Both because my AP gets better and I understand the game better. Because first time it feels very overwhelming. The rondel feels like, oh, I don't know why I'm doing this yet. And then at the end of the game, you're just like, oh, okay, so this Terrac gives points for that. I forgot. So I think that I like this game. And I think I will play it with 2 and 3 players, maybe not 4, but it was okay. It's just a little long if people have AP and things changes on the board and they have to think again because things has changed. But I think this is a great game. I'm going to give this an 8.5.
Daitoshi is a really cool game. It gives me that feeling of joy. It gives me that jittery feeling inside of me where it's like, oh, this is fun. Even though I lose with 100 points. Yeah, that doesn't feel that good. When it's like, oh, you're going to win by more than 100 points. But other than that, it feels great. Everything I do is fun. It's one of those games, and it's not a super heavy game. It's a medium plus. I would say like it's a light medium game-ish. It's hard in that category because it's going to be super heavy for somebody, and it's not going to be super heavy for
Light,
somebody.
medium?
No, light heavy.
Okay,
Like
thank
a
you.
lighter heavy game.
Yeah.
But
I
everything
agree.
I do is pretty like straightforward. I'm going to move, I'm going to place them, I'm going to do the one action, exploit it, and do the one action. And it's just like fun. My turn should be quick, so I liked it way better when it was not 2.5 hours for 2 people, and Cinema had like massive AP every time it was her turn. And I like it better that way. So I just really enjoy all of those things. And because of that, I'm going to give it an 8.5 as well.
Cool.
The last thing we are going to do is the paddle. Do the paddle. Do the paddle.
Oh yeah,
Are
you're
you
still
ready?
trying to make that a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Boom!
It's a double key.
It's double keep. This is a great game.
I agree.
I enjoy this. If you are going to Spiel, check it out. It might be for you if you like games like we like. I think you're gonna like this. It is, of course, not gonna be for everyone, but if you think it's gonna be for you, check it out. And of course, you can go and buy and probably play the game as well, which is makes it even more easier to find out if it's gonna be for you. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments, and we will do our best to answer them. And that is going to be the end. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Seva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye bye.